Good morning, good evening, good afternoon. This is the PAPAJO show where PAPAJO knows. I'm your host, PAPAJO, and I am sorry we are running late today. Had to put out a really crazy fire this morning. So still working through a few different things here, and that was weird. Hopefully that didn't mess up the stream, but whatever. Sorry about that, y'all. Anyhow, we are live. I am finally actually capable almost to turn my head. My neck, whatever reason, on Thursday evening and then Friday, man, I could not look up or down. I could not look side to side. And I was legit shut down. Saw a chiropractor on Saturday morning. And yeah, I'm at least mobile now. It's definitely still present, but I'm at least mobile. So sorry we missed Friday's show. That was a pain in the neck, quite literally. And anyhow, so I do appreciate y'all sticking around and being here. And those of you who are part of the Patreon, we had a whole conversation about let y'all know there and everything. So I do appreciate that. I really like the fact that I can actually just directly communicate with you guys like through there and everything. It's kind of cool to me. Hopefully y'all are enjoying it as well. So today we are going to take a look at Elon Musk, some things he's sounding the alarm on around the economy, some things I have been telling you guys was coming. We're going to talk about some stuff Robert Kiyosaki's going to be pointing out, and then we're going to actually look at some data around credit issues, and then not the back end. I've got some Polygon news for you guys. I think you'll enjoy. So if you are new to the channel, do me a favor and give us a subscribe, grab the bell as well. That way you know when I go live. I do multiple live shows a week, and then I also have my sorry, get the hiccups. My Patreon. I set that up. So one, I've had multiple people ask, "Hey, I just want to support you. I don't care," and they just sign up for that, and that's great. And I've also had people go, "I want to hear what you have to say about all these different subjects." So that's where I take the gloves off. Have fun with that. So I enjoy it. I also enjoy the fact that there is a community built around that, and that we are all hang out together. And at one point in the future, I'm sure we will actually get together and actually have some fun. So anyhow, enough of all that fun stuff. Let's jump into what's going on today, shall we? So Elon Musk sounds the alarm on real estate, warning a spike of defaults on the mortgages and commercial loans, what could hammer the banks. So if you haven't been paying attention to all that's going on with the banking sector, I'm sure those of you who are regular here, you know. But as far as what's really been going on with all that, the banks are insolvent, they're collapsing, and they're consolidating into each other. We just had one. Who was it that got bought out by someone last night? So and this week is no different. The banks are gone. We had SVB go away. We have had Credit Suisse have some crazy stupid fun. We've had First Republic go bank is I don't know what the crap's going on there. UBS was having crazy fun stuff. Charles Schwab was having some interesting stuff happen. So I'll keep an eye on them. JP Morgan, I think I'm telling y'all, I really think, and I don't know if it's because of the different stuff going on around the that financier who didn't kill himself. Y'all know what I'm talking about. To be very careful who I say here on this show. Patreon, I can say it all day long. Here though, anyways, that stuff is coming to a head. Okay, the mortgages are defaulting. Okay, commercial loans. No one works from the office really anymore. If you had an office, if you had a storefront, um, that type of stuff isn't being used really anymore. It's being it's vacant, right? Unless you own the building outright yourself as the company, most of the time somebody else is leasing that. A property management company of some sort is leasing it. There are companies that I know are out there who are literally closing different we'll call it regions of their offices and consolidating into the buildings that they either own or their biggest, nicest buildings so they can actually have a office space to meet with clients or whatever. So that is happening all across the country. You think about how come back up here. Think about how you have the malls that are no longer really being used. Who goes to the mall anymore? Amazon kind of destroyed that, right? Especially for the younger generation. They don't go to the stores because most of the time they can't find what they're looking for. You want to go try on clothes, you want to go put, look for some computer stuff, whatever, you want to touch and feel, blah, blah, blah. They don't really do that anymore. No one does that. So it's all changed now. The whole thing around the defaults around the mortgages, I have told y'all, as the inflation spikes, it's going to get really, really crazy. If you follow me on other social media, or if you don't, go to thepapajoshow.com. It's listed in the description of the video as well. These are my social medias up here. Okay. Twitter is a really, really interesting one as we go through here. It takes you right to my stuff here. I wanted to share this particular thing here. This is extraordinarily important, and I want all of you to pay attention to it. And yes, I'm going to eat into the time on what we're going to talk about, but it ties into what Musk is talking about, and I really, really, really want y'all to hear this. If you saw this already on my channel, great to hear it again, but I wanted it to be in here too. So what I'm going to do is I'm not going to mute myself. I'm going to point the speakers at this, and then we are going to have a conversation on the back end. So stick around. Here we go. I don't know. Actually, that didn't do anything for y'all. Let's bump this up. Sorry. I do these live. Nothing fancy. Those of you who have been around, nothing fancy. Here we go.
Putin announced this week that Russia will begin using the Chinese yuan for international payments instead of the dollar. Saudi Arabia is also in talks with Beijing to do the same thing. Speaking of Saudi Arabia, meanwhile, they're in talks with Iran as well to consider an economic alliance with China and Russia. And they can even be joining the BRIC countries, which is an acronym for these countries here, Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa. These countries all have emerging economies. So what happens if our economy and the U.S. dollar are no longer the world's dominant currency? Former Assistant Treasury Secretary and host of the Monica Crowley podcast, Monica Crowley, is here to weigh in. Monica, great to see you this morning. Let's start right there. What happens if these emerging economies move away from the U.S. dollar towards the Chinese yuan?
Well, good morning, Will. It's great to be with you. And it's really hard to overstate exactly how catastrophic the abandonment of the U.S. dollar would be as the world's global reserve currency. Look, since the end of World War II, the dollar has been the safe place to go, and it's been backed up by a couple of things. It originally was backed up by gold, but President Nixon took us off the gold standard, so there's no hard asset backing up the dollar anymore for the last 50 years. But also it's been backed up by the strength and economic power of the United States and the fact that oil has always been traded in dollars. If that were to end, that would mean the end of the U.S. dollar. Look, there's a perfect storm happening right now, Will. The world's reserve currency being that, having that status has been a real privilege, but we've abused the privilege by wholly reckless monetary and fiscal policies over many years, certainly over the last couple of years, which has really devalued the dollar. On top of that, now you do have this perfect storm of Biden's weakness, his war on American domestic energy production, the Ukraine war, and as you point out, because of all of these things, we've got America's enemies led by China forming a new economic bloc. And all it would take at this point now, because we're at this pivotal moment, Will, is for Saudi Arabia, who has indicated that they're open to this, to say, you know what, we're going to be open to considering other currencies to trade in oil. If that were to happen, there would be a complete implosion of the global economic system, but certainly the American economic system. And if that were to happen, you'd be looking at sky-high inflation, just raging Weimar Republic kind of inflation. If you think inflation is bad now, just wait. But more importantly, we would lose our economic dominance and we would lose our superpower status.
Monica, the world's reserve currency, you said it's a privilege for the United States for the dollar to have been the world's currency. How does that relate to each individual American? How has that changed or impacted or improved our lives throughout the last several decades?
Yeah, I mean, it's given the United States incredible dominance in the world in terms of the economic system and in terms of trade. It's kept prices down. So whether it's energy prices, whether it's your food prices, the entire global economic system is reliant on the safe and secure dollar. But that is no longer true, again, because we've been printing money like crazy and devalued the power of the dollar and the value of the dollar. But on top of it now, again, oil is the critical linchpin of this. If Saudi Arabia decides to join with America's enemies here and start trading oil in different currencies, that is going to undermine the entire global economic system. And here at home, you know what it's going to mean for us? It's going to mean raging inflation, so much worse than anything we have ever experienced, Will. And I'll tell you, they're setting it up so that they can then come to the rescue by introducing central bank digital currencies. If they were to do that, and the United States already has a pilot program, that means the loss of your individual economic freedom, because the government will have total access and control of everything you buy and sell, and the ability to turn it off like that.
Ominous warning. I hear you. Saudi Arabia is the tipping point. Oil trading in dollars is the tipping.
Yeah. So back to what Musk was saying about how the mortgages are collapsing, the commercial loans are going to hammer the banks. Just wait until all that money that's out there in the world that's being used for trade and oil comes back to the United States. The chickens will come home to roost kind of thing. Guys, we don't stand a chance. She mentioned the Weimar Republic. Go do your research on that history. Go check that out. Oh, Manny, thank you. That is a fantastic thing to point out. I am going to pull that up right here. Go to the right one. So on my company's website, Aster Blockchain Consulting, right? I have this resources tab right here. Okay. Under that, at the very bottom, is Required Education, Hidden Secrets of Money by Mike Maloney. Very much so. Highly recommend. He gave me permission to have it on there, etc. It's a 10-part series. At first, he's not into crypto, but he explains money, how money works, and he does a really good job with it. Highly recommend. That is Required Education. But anyways, the turmoil in the banking sector could spread to the housing and commercial real estate markets. Elon Musk has warned, and I've been warning that. Y'all know this. This is by far the more serious looming issue. He tweeted on Saturday, mortgages too. Guys, gals, it's not a joke. The dollar's dead, considering the fact that's going on in the world. The world doesn't want the dollar. The world is setting up their different things, and they are configuring this stuff outside of the control of the banking systems that are set up primarily here in the U.S. The dollar is no longer the world reserve, and some people can argue with me on that, and I don't really care. I'm telling you what's happening. This is how this will go. The rest of the world says, okay, we don't want the dollar. We'll work with the yuan, or we'll work with this CBDC or this basket of currencies. It'll be backed by gold. It'll probably be some sort of cryptocurrency, et cetera, et cetera. Yeah. You're going to see that kind of stuff happen. And then all of a sudden, all the dollars that the world is holding right now in reserve so they can obtain oil or fuel for their whatever they need, those will get spent inside of the United States as quickly as they possibly can. And guess what happens? You want to see hyperinflation. Weimar Republic inflation is nuts. Go look at what happened. They were actually using stacks of their fiat currency to burn as a fire fuel. They would take wheelbarrows to the market to get groceries. Y'all think I'm kidding. That's what happened. Look in Zimbabwe. Look at the stuff that's happened look at Venezuela. Venezuela has their streets littered with the fiat currency, and no one wants it. I'm telling y'all, that's what's coming. Musk is saying this. People like Robert Kiyosaki are saying this. I'm not the only one saying this, guys. I'm not. This dude is plugged in. Kiyosaki's plugged in. I'm not as plugged in as they are. I'd love to be able to just know what's really going on. You can connect the dots. That's what we do on the PAPAJO show. We connect the dots. The Tesla Twitter CEO and SpaceX CEO, was responding to Kabisi letter from, I guess that's right, it outlined that a record $2.5 trillion in commercial real estate debt will mature in the next 5 years. You think that this is it's gonna happen before that? That's nuts. That's a lot. And if you've been following along on the Twitter, my Twitter stuff, I shared something of this past weekend where I think it was Jim Jordan who was questioning, I guess you would say would be a better way to, the Treasury Secretary Yellen straight up asked, are you going to increase the deficit, the national debt from the 22 trillion it is to 50 trillion? She says yes. Hello, guys. Cryptocurrency is the exit strategy. If you can find gold and silver right now, that's also a great place. I am not telling you what to do. Take the information, take the education, and go do your research. I seriously think that this is the direction we are going. We are going to have problems. Many borrowers could default on these loans in the face of sharply higher interest rates, depressed occasional occupancy levels, tighter financing, and pressure on asset prices as recession fears grow. We've been in a recession, y'all. If they're saying recession fears grow, we're talking depression here, guys. All right. Around 70% of CRE debt, commercial debt in the United States is held by smaller banks, exposing them to major losses if these defaults occur. The market's commentary said. In the same vein, someone, I'm not even going to try to say their name, tweeted a few days earlier that the collapse of Silicon Valley Bank was just a blip, and there was much larger time bomb in the form of CRE loans on banks' balance sheets. We are not going to be okay. I am telling you, there's a storm coming. If you will just take a second and just think for 2 seconds, if you got cash in the bank, are the banks solvent? Is the bank going to actually give you your money when you ask for it? You can go test it. If you got more than, I think, more than $2,000 in the bank, they will only let you pull out that $2,000 one time in a week, unless you call ahead of time and say, hey, I'm going to pull out $10,000, $2,000, or $2,500. I don't know, whatever, $100,000. And they're going to look at you and say, yeah, we'll have that for you in 2 to 3 weeks. I'm not kidding. I have people who have come to me and said that they wanted to pull out. I think somebody wanted to buy a car. They had cash in the bank. They wanted to buy a car. They wanted to pay cash for it. I think it was like $8,000 or something dollars. It was a car for their kid. And they were like, I walked up to the counter like I have in the past, and I withdraw $8,000. They're like, we can't do that. He's like, why not? It's in my account. It's my money. They don't have the money in the bank, guys. I'm telling y'all. If you want to use your money, you need to find an electronic way to do it. This is why one of the things I've told people, cryptocurrency is the exit strategy, because it's the only way you're going to be able to digitally get it out, so to speak. I think this is also another place you can get stuff. Why did that do that? Hang on. Nope. Okay, I didn't like the fact that I don't have. Hang on. That's interesting. Maybe I spelled something wrong. Nope, that's not good. All right, I need to go talk to those folks. Some security stuff in their SSL certificates. Anyhow, part of the other reason I say gold, silver, and crypto is because, as those of my regulars know, it protects your purchasing power. It takes the fiat currency out of the system and puts it into a real money asset, allowing you. And I have people would laugh at me. Bitcoin's lost 75% of its value. No, it's not actually. It came down just like the stock market comes down, and it's now about to take off again. We are about to see an explosion like y'all have not seen in crypto in like ever. So Robert Kiyosaki says that the Fed rate hikes, as we saw last week, will crush stocks, bonds, and real estate, and the dollar. Again, it's happening. Still, the famous author of the best-selling book Rich Dad Poor Dad, Robert Kiyosaki, has warned that the Federal Reserve continued rate hikes will crash stocks, bonds, real estate, as well as U.S. dollar. He expects the next crash to be a $1 quadrillion derivatives. $1 quadrillion in derivatives. Y'all have no idea. Well, some of you do. Because you've looked. The derivatives market is massive. You think $1 trillion is big? Go look at $1 quadrillion. Raising, and this is quoting Kiyosaki, raising interest rates will crash the markets. Yeah, it's not very good. Just to put into perspective, 1 quadrillion is 1,000 trillions. Okay? So in the data world, you have a megabyte, you have a gigabyte, you have a terabyte, and you have, I think, a petabyte is after that. Similar stuff. Each of them are 1,000 of each. Yeah, kind of crazy stuff. The Federal Reserve raised interest rates by the 25 basis points. We saw that last week on Wednesday. While a number of people expect the Fed to start cutting rates soon, Powell said that rate cuts are not in the Fed's base case. Well, if they screwed stuff up so much, they're going to have to cut them. Just saying. Fun times for sure. So all this banking stress is now putting U.S. and Europe on a watch for credit crunch. Why? Oh wait, they printed too much money. They have too much debt outstanding, unrealized losses, as they're calling them. Stress in the banking sector will be closely monitored for its potential to trigger a credit crunch. The U.S. Federal Reserve policymaker said on Sunday, yesterday, as European Central Bank official also flagged a possible tightening on lending. Authorities around the world are on high alert for the fallout from the recent turmoil in banks following the collapse of the United States Silicon Valley Bank and the Signature Bank, and the rescue takeover, or I'll call it shotgun wedding, of Credit Suisse. Yeah, you see what I did there? Yeah, that was a forced event. Credit Suisse is and UBS are they're just and now First Republic. Oh my goodness, guys, it's not good. Last week ended with indicators of the financial market stress flashing. The euro fell against the dollar, the Eurozone government bond yield sank, and the cost of insuring against bank defaults surged, despite assurances from policymakers. I wonder why. What are they afraid of? What are they not telling you? I'm telling you what they're not telling you. In the latest effort to calm investors, the U.S. Treasury said on Friday that the Financial Stability Oversight Council agreed that the U.S. banking system is sound and resilient, just like they did with Lehman Brothers, just like they did back in 2008, just like they've always done. Guys, Bear Stearns tanked. They had really strong liquidity 4 days before. We are literally teetering on the edge of an all-out crazy collapse in the financial systems. On top of that, we have a drunk president standing over the button to release destruction of untold amounts. And on top of that, we have a financial system that's being stood up around the world that circumvents the dollar, which is their right to do so. But that leaves all of us in a very, very nasty pickle. Very much so. I'll read this real quick. What's unclear for us is how much of these banking stresses are leading to a widespread credit crunch. That credit crunch would then slow down the economy. This is something we are monitoring very, very closely. Minneapolis Fed President said on Sunday on CBS, Face the Nation. It definitely brings us closer, said Kashgari, who has been among the most hawkish Fed policymakers in the advocating higher interest rates and to fight inflation. Guys, what goes up must come down. We are in trouble. Last little thing I want to leave y'all with here before we go and say hey to everybody. You guys are fantastic. Polygon ZK-EVM mainnet beta goes live. Ethereum's Ethereum's Buterin, so Vitalik sends first transaction. The release of Polygon ZK-EVM comes days after a competitor, Matter Labs, released its own ZK-EVM. Interesting. Matter Labs, I need to go look at those guys. I did not realize they were actually competing. Cool stuff. Great things. Polygon, an Ethereum scaling platform, releases its zero-knowledge Ethereum virtual machine, or ZK-EVM, beta on the public to the public Monday. The latest launch in what is expected to be one of 2023's hottest blockchain trends. Just so y'all understand, I told y'all this is coming. It happened on the 23rd or the 27th. When was that supposed to launch? Whatever. It doesn't matter. It's live. If those of you who are techies or devs, go out there and dig in them and have some fun. Polygon also said that it's making all aspects of its ZK-EVM open source, so developers are able to study and share the code, allowing them to contribute to more innovations in the zero-knowledge space, which is huge because it allows projects like Divi, who was looking at doing some of the stuff with this, to actually get in there and dig with it. We want to be extremely aligned on the Web3 ethos. Sandeep Neelwal, the co-founder of Polygon, said in a video on Coindesk, we want more experimentation. Beautiful. Guys, this is huge. As part of the ceremony announcement, according to Polygon's team, Vitalik Buterin, co-founder of Ethereum blockchain, was granted the privilege of initiating the first transaction on the new ZK-EVM live stream this past week. Fantastic stuff. So, anyhow, it was sent. It was successful, etc., etc. Over 50 companies shared that they want to build using Polygon ZK-EVM technology, according to Polygon's press release. That's not a joke, y'all. Pay attention to Polygon. Pay attention to Polygon. Where are they at in my list here? Right there. Guys, they were building just like Divi is. They were building just like Divi. And then all of a sudden, boom. Guys, it's going to be a really, really amazing year. If you go back here, and when you'll see this, will be just like these little blips down here, okay? It's good stuff, guys. Looks like Bitcoin is down for the day a little bit. Dow's up, which is interesting that they're inverse of each other. The NASDAQ and the SP 500 are having their fun. Let's see, we've got gold down, silver's down. Divi is slightly down, although it was up earlier. And then we've got, I already showed y'all Polygon. We've got Axie, which is an interesting one. Pay attention to them too. Oh, look, hey, mortgage rates fluctuated again. It's yeah. Y'all just wait. Musk isn't joking around. I'm not kidding around. We got XRP. I forgot that was down there too. It's not something to sleep on, y'all. It's not something to sleep on. What's going on, Tom? How are you today? Thanks for being part of the show. As always, we've got Tom Hutchinson in the house. What is up, brother? It's good to see you. Clint Westwood, y'all go check out his YouTube show. He's got great content, great information around a lot of different stuff. So go check out his show. What's up, brother? Thanks for being here. It is good to see you. Who else we got here today? We got Daddy-O in the house. What's up, brother? Thanks for being here today. Manny, I made it. Yeah, thanks for being here, man. I did do it a little later today. A lot of crazy stuff happening at work. So, anyhow, what's going on? Sharon, how are you? Thanks for being here today. It's fantastic to have you here live. Who else we got in here today? Doop, 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 doop. Let's see. Who else is here? Got Larry Stevens. What's going on, man? Thanks for being here today. It's fantastic. I thought back in 2007 the crash was happening, but no, just print. Yeah. But this time, wow, so many other things happening. Yeah, that's the problem, dude, is that the money will probably come back into the United States. There's not going to be a need to print. And then they're going to be trying to print to stop it, except that's only going to cause the problem to be worse. So anyways, we got Lithia. What's going on? Thanks for being here today. It is a great day for sure. Let's see who else is here today. We got Rick. What's going on, man? Thanks for being here today. As always, I appreciate it. Y'all are fantastic for being part of the show. Alrighty. Listen, I'm sitting here thinking. I have a meeting that I'm for work for the Patreon this afternoon. If I can't get it moved, I will pre-record something and send it and let that one run for you guys. So it is a great day. Get outside, enjoy the time, enjoy the weather. It is beautiful. No matter where you are, coming into the springtime. And y'all be blessed and have an amazing day. Talk to you soon.